Well, it is funny, and I guess that's where we should start is the beginning on Will Levis. It is so early to be taking any victory laps on Will Levis. He has played one game. How many times have we seen a backup or a young quarterback come in and play really well? You get kind of that new guy bump. You know, your teammates are playing a little extra hard for you. You're an unknown commodity to the defense, so they don't quite know how to defend you well. Defensive coordinators haven't figured you out on tape yet and figured out how to make your life more difficult. That's absolutely something that could be and may very well be at play here for Will Levis. But right now, in this honeymoon phase of his quarterback career for the Titans, which we talked about on Thursday, potentially being the case after this game, certainly the case, a fantastic performance that I think absolutely, by the way, cements him as the starter for Thursday night. I was talking to some of the folks in the media pool, in the press conference room after the game, about if there's just any chance. Is there any chance that the Titans roll out a hobbled Ryan Tannehill 5 nights from now on the road in Pittsburgh and play him when they deem him healthy enough over Will Levis? The answer was a resounding no, and I believe that to be the case. You simply cannot, after a performance like that from Levis, and with Tannehill clearly, I mean, he didn't practice at all this week. He's not, he's not healthy yet. So I think now that's not a concern. But JT, they then have a mini bye of 12 days off or whatever it is, 10 days off. That's a question we're going to get there eventually. That's something that we're going to have to discuss. And as if Will Levis puts up more performances like this in consecutive games, then it's, I think it's the advantage is going to be him, and it's going to be an easy out for the Titans to be like, well, Tannehill, he would be back, but he's still, we're just wanting to get him back to 100%. Will Levis is doing a good job, and you kind of kick that can down the road. But the second that Will Levis stumbles, and he will stumble, as all quarterbacks do, especially rookie quarterbacks, that's going to be a discussion eventually. And Ryan Tannehill does still have that $30 million price tag on his head. And he is still, I believe, even though you had one good performance by the rookie, and it's exciting, and all these things we're going to get into in a minute. This coaching staff on one performance has not changed their minds about which quarterback gives this team the best chance to win. It's still Ryan Tannehill. Now, Will Levis is going to have an opportunity over at least one more game. And if he continues to parlay performances like this and stack wins, then maybe more. Maybe he earns himself more leash to prove himself worthy of getting the look and maybe turning the page officially on Ryan Tannehill. But I'm just warning folks, if you tune back into this show on next Sunday, on next Thursday, previewing the Titans Week 10 game, and we're talking about, will it be Levis? Will it be Tannehill? Who should it be? Who will it be? I wouldn't be surprised if that conversation is coming. Now, let's quit looking ahead, because that's kind of an annoying conversation to have. Let's look back at this game and react to what was a fantastic performance by Will Levis. You look at his next-gen passing chart for the day, and I've seen a number of folks in the comments already mention how there were a couple of pretty brutal drops in this game that did Will Levis's numbers no favors, did the Titans team no favors. A couple of drops that, if those drops were turned into catches, Titans may have run away with this one. Of course, the first ones that come to mind are that Chig drop on the right-hand side of the field, running that, in and out route where he's got miles of space to run. Just looks, from my perspective in the stadium, like a classic turns your head before you caught the ball situation. And it was, like we've been talking about all year, another really disappointing. I mean, I've jokingly said before that it feels like Chig has to drop one every game before he can start catching them. And after he had that drop today, he had a really impressive catch on a ball that was thrown behind him. It's like, okay, well, he can catch that, but he can't catch the one where he's got no one within his area code and plenty of room to run. And it's a gentle. It's not like Will Levis threw a laser beam at him. It was a gently thrown ball. You and I could have caught that ball. He knows he has to catch that ball. And so, again, I keep veering into the disappointing things. I'm getting all of the bad out of the way, I guess, at the beginning. Chig has been so disappointing this year, and it just makes me genuinely sad on the inside. I know what he's capable of being. He's just not been that so far. Another player that's been that way, Treylon Burks, a big drop on, I believe, the first drive of the game, where Will Levis puts it in a bucket with his throw, kind of reroutes Treylon, who was running more horizontally to the sideline on that pass, reroutes him vertically, finds an open space between two defenders, drops it in the hands of Treylon. Now, it looks like the defender made a pretty good play on that ball, so you got to give them props for that. but Burks has to bring that in. That's a contested catch situation where good contested catchers make the catch. And he's not, it's just another example, another drop in the bucket of examples of Treylon Burks not making the difficult catch when he needs to and not showing those flashes of being a, wide receiver one material. He did kind of bounce back and have some nice catches. That one catch on the sideline was a difficult catch, barely out of balance, but that's the kind of thing you want to see. It's a proof of concept ops. Absolutely. You see him stretch out and get that first down, which was ultimately rescinded by a pretty ridiculous pass interference call on DeAndre Hopkins, but he had some decent plays the rest of the game. But those two are at the top of the list of guys that can be way better and are really disappointing for this team right now.